Here we are, spawning in the upper right. In the blue, the teamless Protoss player, it's Trap. Excuse me. And in the bottom left, in the red, his erstwhile teammate. Now for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it's the one, the only, it's Rogue. Now, of course, someone needs to hire this man. Trap needs a team. And if you are watching this and you say, hey, I always wanted to get into the owning a StarCraft team thing, well, now is your chance. Now is your opportunity to become part of history. And hire Trap. Sponsor Trap. Make Gemini less sad. Now, I would love to do that, but unfortunately, I am just a lowly PhD student and hobby caster, so the amount of money I have to do something like that is, well, not. I don't have the money for it. Not at all, as much as I would like to. So, anyway, what do we got here in this game number 1 of the semifinals? Looks like nothing crazy as of yet. We can see a gate expand coming in from Trap. And hatch gas pool from Rogue. Now it looks like, yeah, no hatch block, nothing of that nature. Both players just wanting to get into the mid game, and I'm really curious what we're going to see from Trap here. It seems like we've seen a lot of Stargate play recently, with good reason. Stargate is the best and almost the only way that a Protoss can find their way into the mid game against a Zerg without either having to do a bunch of damage or just being behind. Now you could go Twilight Council, absolutely valid, but it has to get some damage done. If it doesn't, well, you just don't have the right tech. Zerg goes and says, ha, yeah, you don't have enough. Let me hammer you into the ground with Roach Ravager, Lingbane, and yeah, we've seen those games. But if you get Stargate, well, Oracles do tons of damage. They're able to keep your third base safe. Void Rays are now new and improved. Huh. I wonder if that's actually a calculated play there, whether the probe did just enough to make sure that there is. Okay, that's just mean Trap. Whether the probe did just enough to do enough damage to the drone to make sure that the Adept goes in and is able to get the kill easier. But okay, now we're gonna have a third base block for the moment. That means Rogue's not gonna be able to get his third immediately when he would like 28, 30 supply, but he's gonna get it at 32, and no big deal. No skin off of Rogue's back here. And we do have a Twilight Council coming on up, so it looks like Trap is interested in being aggressive in this game number 1. So there with a Robo coming on down, this should be Glaives. We're gonna have to watch the gas count. I mean, there is the opportunity for a Dark Shrine into like an Archon drop. That you don't see that nearly as often. And that being said, though, earlier in this tournament, Trap did play a lot of played a Dark Templar game, similar opening, but yeah, okay, there we go. This will be Glaives. And now we're just going to have to see Rogue defend it. And really, what I'm interested to see is, how is he going to defend it? Not will he, because, I mean, he's Rogue. More likely than not, he will be able to do so, especially now that he's scouted what he's coming up against. But how will he? Will he do the DRG defense, where you get the Spine, and you get a slightly delayed Roach Warren, and then you Cold with Queen Ling Spine, and then you get a bunch of Roaches? Is he going to do the... I don't know who started doing this, but where you get a faster Roach Warren, but you only get like 3 Roaches, and you turn them into Ravagers. And Zerglings just kind of surround the Adepts as you pile them down. Different opportunities, different methods to hold it. And I'm curious to see which one he will. So there we go. We have looks like a 340 Roach Warren. And we don't see a Spine coming on up. So looks like this will be maybe something closer to how Dark likes to hold it compared to the DRG defense. But, well, for the moment, he is supply blocked. And that is, getting supply blocked right around this 4-minute 30 time is so unfortunate. On the one hand, it's like, yeah, I scouted. But on the other hand, this is when you just need to be spamming out units. So we do notice 3 Overlords on the way here. As Orc says, wait a minute here. I need I need help. I need more than just the Zerglings I have. So 3 Roaches are on the way. And the Queens will need to be consolidated here to make the defense. So 3 Queens gonna shell away at things. But now, of course, they really can't do a whole lot as other Zerglings are gonna stay on top of the Depths. But the Depths say, hey, you know what? There's not enough Zerglings here whatsoever. So we're just going to kind of fight you all, and no adepts are one adept's going to go down, but all the Zerglings will die as well. And when you have to pull drones, this is where it starts to get a little bit spooky. This is where it gets pretty hard to deal with. His 11 workers have already died here, a bunch of Zerglings as well, and this is the Dark defense. This is the Ravager defense, but it doesn't really matter when 13, 14 workers do go down, as now the adepts find their way onto the third base, targeting down the Spore just to make the idea that maybe this is a Dark Shrine follow-up, but instead, no, it's going to be the Immortal all-in. That Zest, really, this was kind of the original version of this build. That Zest really was making use of when he killed Cyril in the in Katowice this last year, where you just hit a really crisp immortal Sentry timing off of your pressure, and the amount of damage you've done, the Unity Force means it's really hard to hold the extra. Now, of course, this is not War Prism that it wants to be, and the War Prism will be able to just barely survive. So now Rogue hitting the drone printer once again, but now the question we gotta ask ourselves is whether he's gonna be able to hold the follow-up. Yes, there is a third base on the way. That's great, that's cool, that's wonderful, that's dandy. But that's not the story of this game. It's the story of where this game may go if Rogue holds and doesn't find himself in a tremendous advantage. Or, if a tremendous disadvantage, okay, that's where the game goes, but this is almost it's not a fake third, because, I mean, it's going up and he does plan on eventually mining from, but I mean, look at this. 2 Immortals moving across the map with a bunch of Adepts. And this is the scary bit. This is where, well, this is where Rogue has to be a little bit careful. As a bunch of Immortals, a bunch of Adepts, well, they can absolutely pack a punch against everything that Rogue has. Now, he does have 3 Ravagers. He has a couple more Roaches on the way on the defense here. But Trap, as he starts this attack, well, he's up on army supply. And that is kind of the break-even point. If the Protoss player is even or ahead on army supply with the Zerg player when you're all inning, that generally means the Protoss is really far ahead. They're really far ahead in their hold. Is now the Adept will get on top of one of the Ravagers. Ravagers goes down, and these Ravagers are the key point of the hold here. Now, I do like what Rogue's doing here. He has a full, pretty much 360 surround on everything. Now, but really nice micro here from Trap. He's going to just get on top of all of these expensive units, on top of all these Ravagers. And that means that, well, the War Prism can warp in pretty much with impunity, as the Adepts will now warp their way on into the natural. And that I like less, as now it means, yeah, that was not the move whatsoever. As, yeah, sure, they gets into the mineral line, and a couple more workers will go down, but, well, 2 Immortals died. And the Immortals are the guts of this, the oomph of this army. Well, you know, 16 workers have gone down, as we do have Adepts into the third base as well, and the third base is done but not mining here for Trap. So I guess 20 workers is enough. 21, 22 workers is enough to justify this. As Rogue drops down to 34 workers, but again, I worry that Rogue is just gonna turn on the unit button. Now, he does not have roach speed. Does he have a lair? No, he does. There's no lair here. So it's gonna take a little bit for reinforcements to find their way across the map. But do we have any? We have 3 shield batteries on the way. They're not done. But it's kind of Artosis tasteless pylon. So this shield battery is not going to be. Only 2 of these shield batteries are fully supported by 2 pylons. That's going to be a little bit scary. And Rogue now double the army supply of traps. So, well, Rogue he's looking pretty. He's in a pretty good spot to maybe really fight back here, especially as he's going to find one Immortal out of position immediately, as the battles do go down. But now we find now with the shield batteries here, well, suddenly that's not nearly as useful as powerful of an attack. And yeah, with these 5 shield batteries, this third base is unassailable. And now Rogue, well, he's committed to it. He has sold out on this attack. This is go big or go home here, and he's hoping to go big. We're gonna have to see as more and more Zerglings, more and more Ravagers coming in. And once again, Rogue has committed to things. He's trying to get Riles on top of the power units. At the very least, he's gonna knock down the force fields, and that's gonna make sure his army can kind of fight. But again, he is on 5 shield batteries, and that is 3 Immortals and a bunch of Adepts. Decent amount of force fields as well. So this is not nearly as powerful an army for Rogue as he's looking at, and more. 4 Immortals now. And we look at the supply. Trav is only down 10 army supply, and he has Defender's advantage. He has these shield batteries he can micro back to. He even has shield battery overcharge if he really needs it. And yeah, it looks like so Rogue will be able to punch his way on into the natural just a little, get on top of one of these shield batteries. Zerglings come running on in, but who's surrounding who here? It very much looks like Trap is taking the better end of this engagement as he's firing away. Sure, there are a lot of Ravagers, but Ravagers don't do the best against, I mean, Ravagers don't do the best when directly fired upon, and there we have it. It's not going to work out, and GG, Trap. He takes game number 1. One more game, Trap is on in the finals. 2 more games, and Rogue is maybe in the finals. But here we go, we're going to have to see what's going to happen as potentially the last game of the series coming on up will be on Oxide. Winner plays Dream in the finals. Loser, well, they take the prize money, they go home, they party. Or they more likely than not hit the ladder again, because this is what StarCraft pros do, and I can't say I blame them. StarCraft's a fun game. But hey, our game's loaded up. Let's go. And here we are spawning in the bottom left in the red, the erstwhile teammate of his opponent. But currently teamless, so someone hire this man. He's Trapped. And in the upper right, in the blue, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it's Rogue. Alright, so what are we going to see in game number 2? Trap got a lot of damage done with that Glaive Adept build, and that's rather surprising. You feel like for the most part Zergs have really figured this out, but you gotta remember, Rogue got supply blocked right as that attack was coming because he lost his Scouting Overlord and didn't pre-build enough Overlords to compensate, and he just didn't have quite enough. So he didn't have enough Zerglings or enough Roaches or Ravager or anything to really hold that 4 minutes and 30 timing. That's a crisp timing that you gotta hold against. And so because of that, just kind of snowballed from there. But again, the question, where do we go from here? Does Trap do the same thing? Does he do a Stargate opener? Does he go Dark Shrine? Does he go for some weird charge thing? I mean, there are options. Does he does he bring the Marjorie out of his back pocket? I don't know. But anyway, what do we have here? Nothing much yet. We don't see really any tells. Actually, no, this is a tell. Look at this. So it looks like we're going to see a Stargate coming on in. There we go. And this is something that I think I've only seen Trap do, where he goes Stargate after Warpgate. And this is as much of a mind game as anything else, as well, you see a lot of Zerg players, they'll just sit that Overlord over the Cybercore and they say, "Hey, are you getting your Warpgate at 220? Are you getting your Warpgate at 220? If not, well, okay, you're going Stargate." But because he gets Warpgate at 220 and still gets a Stargate, well, what that means, of course, is that maybe Rogue is going to get caught off guard here. And honestly, this is a pretty cool thing. This is something that I think I've only seen Trap do. Trap doing in the last couple weeks, and it's a pretty cool little mind game. Now the Adept does find its way in, kills off a couple Zerglings, but yeah, not much is going to happen here. But Trap though, because he got the Adept on into the main base, that did mean that Zerglings were not able to find the third, which meant that he was able to block it, but which of course has forced Rogue into taking his third in this position, which is maybe not quite as nice. But anyway, at the end of the day, not the biggest of deals. This is still a pretty decent position to try to defend, as long as it's not, say, a Colossus all in coming in from the right-hand side. That becomes a little bit problematic. But anyway, that's not what we're going to see here yet. Now, of course, the Oracle is going to fly in, and we will see a second Oracle here, so we may see something else. But actually, this build is ringing a bell for me. Because I know I've seen Trap do this recently. So what I think we're gonna, so we're gonna see, there we see the 4-15 third base coming on down, and behind that, I think we're gonna see. I think this is a Charizard Archon build. This is kind of a, not a fake third because it's at 4 minutes, but there we go. There's the Twilight Council. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly what this is gonna be. This is a build the Trap has been throwing out, and it is it just bopped Dark the other day. Watching that. He goes and he says, ah, yes, I got 2 oracles, I got a quick third base. Nothing untowards here whatsoever, my good man. And meanwhile, he hits at 6 minutes with 2 Archons and a bunch of Charizards, and Dark didn't have a Ro4, so Dark died. Now, the Oracle's doing a really good job of knocking off a couple more workers here, and we do have a Ro4, so this should not just be the instant death that we do see, and actually, yeah, Rogue even getting some safety roaches here. Wait, these safety roaches? No, it looks like Rogue is actually committing rather... We got the taxi. Well, not exactly the taxi, but we got the waddle of death and doom coming across the map here, as Rogue is looking to get a little bit aggressive, a little bit cheeky in this game number 2 as he looks to equalize things and find our way to game 3, maybe even find his way to the finals. But more importantly, I don't believe this is something that Trap is aware of. Like right now, we do have Blink and a Dark Shrine on the way here, so not exactly the build that I thought he was going to go for. But again, Dark Shrine, if he's able to get that up, do we have a lair? We do not. So if he's able to hold long enough for that Dark Shrine to come up, that's going to be the hold right there. That's just not something that's going to happen. As we do have the rather slow force fields coming in, but it does shave off a decent amount of the army of Rogue. Although there's not a lot of DPS here, so it's not really going to kill off a lot of it. But what this is doing is it is buying time for shield batteries to come up, but buying time for more warp ins, and that is the important thing. That is what is going to allow Trap to maybe make the hold here. But again, who knows? This is an incredibly powerful attack. It is a German taxi without a taxi. So what do we call that? Just Germany? Now, regardless, of course, Rogue will knock this third base down, and Trap smartly says, I tried to hold it, didn't really work. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. But you gotta remember, there's detection. There's detection on the map, sure. That's what you get when you get Spore Crawlers, because there are 2 oracles. But, well, there's a Dark Shrine done. And that means that, I mean, I wish there was a Warp Prism on the map here, but the Robo's not done. Anyway, okay, nice targeting there with a Spore Crawler. That doesn't mean 1 Oracle goes down, but 1 Oracle for, I think he got 6 total drones? 5 total drones. With how heavily Rogue has cut probes, or cut drones to make this happen. Well, that's pretty much worthwhile. Now we have our Dark Templar running their way across the map. Looks like 2 of them will be kept in a defensive position, and one of them will move across the map to try to get some damage done. So these DTs are just going to start shelling away, and Rogue, once he hears that characteristic schnick sound, well, he should realize that, yeah, I cannot make this happen. And there we go, so you're going to start running away. But now the DT, where is this other Dark Templar? Okay, there it is. Going to start finding his way across the map here. Now, there is, of course, detection in every base, but there's not a whole lot of army yet. So that is... Actually, yeah, okay, never mind. Lair is done as well, so there you go. Queens are going to be able to defend against this Dark Templar. Not really going to be able to get a whole lot done. But now we have pressure coming on in from Trap, and it looks like he's going to go for some sort of... Well, probably Colossus. His Blink is done, so... Blink Stalker Colossus, pretty solid strat, and wow, that's a lot of Overlords going down at the moment. Rogue, pretty heinously supply blocked. He's getting 10 Overlords here. He says, no. I do not want to get supply blocked ever again. But hey, we're going to have to see what's going to happen on in here. So third base is just about done here for Trap, as he did have to give it up once. Rogue's 4th base finishing up just as well, so this is just a normal game, just 4 minutes delayed. And this will be Disruptor play coming on in. So Blink Stalker, Disruptor coming on in as Dark Templar found their way on into the main and into the natural. And yes, there's detection, but detection only goes so far, and you need to have army ready to defend against it. So six more drones do go down here. Now the DTs will finally get cleaned up, but not before, again, getting 6 workers. That's a pretty solid trade for them in this game, especially, again, because detection's a thing. And now Trap getting posturing aggressively here. I don't think this is his timing to really get aggressive on the map yet. Does not really have the disruptor count he's looking for. No second Robo, no Warp Prism. So he's just removing creep and letting Rogue know that he exists. All right, Queen Roach Ravager push Mark II. This is a lot more queens this time, but this time there are disruptors, and queens they're pretty slow. Disruptors, they do a doozy against them. And if you time the Disruptor Balls right, the Queens cannot even transfuse against it. Especially with a lot of Ravagers. I mean, Disruptors are really the perfect deck choice that our Protoss player could have gone for in this game. But now we're going to have the pressure coming in from both sides. Disruptor Shot going to go on the left and not really going to get a whole lot yet, but Stalker's going to blink on top of things. Shield Batter Overcharge going on the way. This Disruptor needs to be careful. And there we go. So Queens are going to start to take some damage here. Shield Batter Overcharge doing a really good job keeping the cannon alive, actually. Now Stalker's going to blink on top of the right-hand side here with Trap making a really decisive move. We're going to have to see whether it works out for him. It looks like it will for the moment, as the Queens, they're trying to do what they can to stay alive, but so many of these Queens are going down. Now, with their Zerglings filing on in here, the Stalker's not really able to fight as much as they want. That being said, the Blink is off of cooldown. This cannon has done so much, and now the Disruptor Shot coming on in from behind, going to do so much to knock down so many of these Queens, or at least remove so much energy from them. And now the Stalkers are going to blink forwards. The Queens, they're going to get targeted down. And Rogue's attack's just running out of steam. I mean, yes, there are more roaches on the way, but Rogue realizes that this attack is not going to bear fruit, not nearly as much as he wants. And GG, Trap! He's going to take it, and he's going to move on to the finals.